Here's your early daily market recap for March 31st, 2022. Let's go. This is Dan Max at EXP Realty, aka the Trading Agent, and this is my stock, Bitcoin, gold, and silver daily market recaps. Please subscribe if you like what you see. Thank you.
This is Dan Max at EXP Realty, aka the Trading Agent, and this is your daily market recap for Thursday, March 31st, 2022. Let's get into it. As always, start out the Discord room. There's a link in the description below. If you have any questions about anything in this video or any questions in general about the markets, what's going on, real estate, anything, stop by the Discord room. The link is in the description below. And on that note, again, the Discord room, fire, talking about gold, shorting it. Not in the sense for long term, but fading the pop move here. Talked about fading oil names that had popped the last couple days, buying the drip, talking about AMD getting slammed, which we got to trade on, the market peaking going into the last day of the quarter, because the last day of the quarter is typically a profit taking day. I want people to be aware that tomorrow is jobs number. If the jobs number comes in bad, we'll probably gap down. Who knows, could gap up. Just be aware that if you see a big gap in any one direction in the morning, just know that it could reverse and end up being a doji. Most jobs days, as I talk about in the Back to Basics videos, they're typically what I would call doji days. If you don't know what a doji is, here's the video, dojis, why they matter. And there's a video about the jobs day, and there's so many videos in here. I apologize. I thought I'd pop up on it quick, but just be aware. That's typically what happens in the, it's on the YouTube channel. That's typically what happens with jobs days, because you get a lot of people who position square, bullish and bearish, and the market loves to just chop everybody out. So on that note, let's get into Bitcoin. All right. I warned you guys yesterday, the day before. I said, hey, what did we not have that we need? We needed volume. It's crazy. I have two volume indicators on here. Guess what? Well, you didn't have it. And that, to me, was a red flag. It said, need more information. Now we're back testing the breakouts. Please have stops. Don't just hold Bitcoin blindly. It's like holding any other trade. You got to be careful. I mean, when we break out and take out the next volume at price zone, I want to see a little bit of volume. I want to see buyers. I want to see the market pumping this thing, not just baby snap. So it's 45,000. Could it get back down to 30? I don't know. But end of quarter markup going in full effect here. If you're not familiar with that, again, the first three and the last three trading days of the month, I will post that in this video so people can watch. And on that note, let's get out of Bitcoin, because I don't think I'm personally not bullish or bearish on it. I've said I want to see more volume, but at this point, I just warn my friends, because I don't really know any Bitcoin bears, that they just need to be careful. Straight line, like you want volume, you want confirm, you want to see the action take off. The dollar, make you holler. Be aware. What have we said? We said, watch this area. It failed under the 20-day. As long as the dollar is not acting incredibly volatile, the market doesn't really care. It can go lower, it can go higher. It's not that important. I try to warn people. TLT, what did I say? I'd eat a pair of socks with Scott if we close the month below 130. Well, look at that. Nice long week. Back over the 100-month. Warned you, folks and friends who were all bearish bonds, meaning TLT was going lower, meaning they expected yields to scream to 3, 4, 5%. Oh, 12% interest rates are coming. Folks, if interest rates were actually naturally allowed to float, they would be there. Keep in mind, rates have been low because the feds have a system that allows for manipulation. That manipulation is strong. We're going into mortgage season, and if banks can't get refis and volume, meaning there's low inventory and the banks can't get more loans from people's actions, then guess what? There's going to be another bailout. And what I mean is, the banks are struggling right now. As the rates go higher, no one's refinancing, and people can't afford new homes. So it puts, it's a struggle for the banks currently to write loans, because there's no loans to write. So lowering the rate seems like the only solution here, because, again, that's what the feds do. Keep in mind, not expecting this monster run up to higher highs on the TLT. Expect channel high, 50-day, and then at some point probably the low 140s, potentially the 200-day. I mean, we'll cross that bridge when we get there, but we talked about this anomaly And remember what we say, you know, novice gaps typically at the low, and also like this blowout. Ooh, a puke, gap, 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 puke, 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 puke. Range, channel low. Guess what? It's turning around. Don't be surprised when everybody's on one side of the trade. You need to have the cognitive awareness to be thinking in my mind, everybody's always wrong. Oh, is everybody going to be right for once? No. The VIX, what did we say? Blow out the 200-day. This has been a monster VIX termination. Now it's getting back over the 200-day. I expect a pop, 23. Could it get back up to 25? Who knows? The markets in themselves are going into earnings coming up in a couple weeks. There typically is a pullback before earnings, especially if the market is running higher, because as you're noticing, companies are warning, and they love to warn into strength, so they hope the market ignores it. Not us. We're paying attention. We've seen many companies start to warn about earnings. They're not going to be good, but again, it doesn't really matter. It's the reaction. You know, if it prices in and the market drops, then they can say all the bad shit they want. All right, speaking of novice gaps, this has been here. It's not like I just added this. I thought this was a novice gap leading to an island floating reversal of some sort. We'll see if we get the island, but we're definitely showing the reversal signs. I would watch 453. That's the next level of importance to me at that point. Then you could get lower. As of right now, I am naked. I sold naked 466 calls. I wanted to sell 465s, but didn't realize I was pressing the wrong entries. Either way, those calls are going to end up being worthless in my mind, and that's what the trade is about. QQQ shorted some of this around 369. Would like to have gotten better. Did not get any retest. Again, thought this was a novice gap. We talked about the 100, 200-day, the 50% fib, all acting as resistance. If the 50-day by itself acts as resistance on the first pop, why wouldn't this be actually a bigger drop? You have to ask yourself, and what I mean drop is pullback. I'm not guaranteeing this is going to crash right back down. Actually, I think it would be more healthy if it did, because this is not, that feels like a bear market rally. Like, I'd love to see a hammer, like retest the lows and hammer it out. Keep in mind when you look at the QQQ monthly, zoom out. At some point, this will get ugly, just like it got ugly in the 2000s. This is not sustainable. Anyone who sits here and says, D-Max, tech is the future, I tell you, tech has always been the future. And when it's not acting well, it can go into permanent shit status, because it took, 16 years to break out, 17 years to get back to even. You don't want to buy and hold tech for the long run at these prices. I promise you that. I don't know when the top is. Could this be a top? Could we make it a lower high? That's what we did in the 2000s. Please do not be all in tech thinking that you're going to get rich. No, you're going to lose your ass at some point. But when? I don't know. That's why you scale out. The more something's up, the less you own. This is a parabolic move on the monthly. I don't know when it ends, but I'd be willing to bet at some point there will be a monster pullback. And if you take cash and you have cash, you'll thank me later, because you will be able to buy dips hand over fist. And hopefully you won't buy tech, but you'll buy whatever. You might buy leading tech. Sometimes what happens is the leaders of tech, old tech, do not become the new leaders. That's a whole nother subject in itself. Because again, I mean, Apple valued at $3 trillion. Could someone compete with them at some point? Google, Facebook, Microsoft? I mean, competition is always coming. The more profits they make, the more people want to go after them. Yeah, we'll see ultimately. IWM said, I thought this was a novice gap, blow off. I thought this was a trap, a bull trap. We are holding on for dear life. Let me remove this because this ended up not being the primary trend. If and only if we close and fill this gap, 205, 206, we break that, IWM should spill. Where should it spill first? 20-day, 50-day old trend line back near 201. If need be, it might go lower. I always say watch the IWM, not necessarily if you want to trade it, but it typically leads. If this starts getting weak, you got a problem. This is a bearish formation. You know, they call this a tweezer top, and it's an approximate one. So you have a tweezer, you know, like this, the candles are right next to each other, or adjacent to up and down, and they look the same size because it usually is a topping mechanism, and it can be a bottoming. Obviously, there's tweezer bottoms too. Let me see if I can find one real quick for a tweezer top, just to kind of give you guys. Oh, that's a nice left-right combo. Not seeing a ton of them at the moment, but again, if you go, oh, that's kind of a tweezer bottom. You have candles with the open and close approximate same size at the top or the bottom. Let's move on because this video is going to be long, but it's going to be great. I promise you. Gold. Talked about in the Discord room. Again, check if you're not involved. Please stop by. We said what? I would be fading this pop. I'm the only person here who thinks gold is going back to 175, maybe even lower. And I'm praying for it because, again, this move brought in a bunch of dumb money. And I mean dumb money is people who bought gold because they thought the war was going to go on forever. I'm telling you right now, Putin's probably going to back off. He got all the gas fields in the east he wants. He's just going to take his land and move on. And at some point, he'll do something later. But he's not going to push. I just don't think he's going to push at this point. He's gotten everything he needs. That's the case. The premium of gold will probably pull back and consolidate. Be aware the second quarter for gold is usually shitty. And that's fine if you took some profits in our hedge, because guess what? When it pulls back, you, me, my friends, we're all going to be shaking this, buying it up. Because keep in mind, we talked about this free money retest. We're very good at picking the bottoms. It's just, again, picking that top was a little hard because of the news, but you should have been hedging on the pops. And if you didn't, cool. I mean, I hope it goes higher. Again, I'm not fully hedged, again, because I cannot predict with anything with certainty, but I do like it long term because why? Oh, yeah, it's a big cup and handle, and you did break the downtrend. That doesn't necessarily mean that you run away at first. It just says be a red alert. Again, another reason why I don't like gold as much as I should. Silver's acting pretty shitty. Again, SJ, nice call on the 200-day. That was spot on, bounced. I would like to see a retest. You show me 22 to 20, just low 22s. I mean, that would be ideal. Somewhere in this. I mean, oof, that would be a gift. GDX. Now hey, again, stop by the Discord. When we talked about this pop up into the range highs was a fade going into the jobs number. Nice work. Congratulations, everybody on the board. You guys deserve credit. I did not see that. I did, however, offer my insight that I thought it would probably be a fade. So far, so good. You can probably see it on the hourly. We kind of get right back up against the highs. Choppy, then now you're making lower lows, lower highs. 10-minute, you can see for yourself. I would anticipate. Now, I've said this. I want to see a pullback. We talked about this. I was the only one screaming buys in the 29 and 30 level. And then I said, watch out for 40. Again, if you want, go back to these days. Watch the daily market recap. Check out the description and go to the GDX. And I promise you, that's what we do. We try to pick tops and bottoms. We try to be smart. We try to stay on top of things, and that's just all you can do at this point. Do you want to see a pullback personally? Probably not, the average person, but I don't mind it. Choppy, sloppy action. You knew there were going to be sellers up here. Let's pull back a little. Let's give back some gains in the sense that shake out the weak hands like we're doing. Then we can rip higher with straight line moves. At this point, that straight line move has to be digested. If you don't understand that, stop by the room. This is a straight line move. It has to be digested. And how that is, can be high and tight. It can be a pullback. Either way, I think it's a dip that is worth buying. How do you want to play that? Nugget, some other of these names, go right ahead, but not now. No, don't do it. And if I'm wrong, hey, you know what? I'll be wrong in gold. Been wrong in gold before, but I'm typically pretty right. Same thing with the GDXJ. You're popping into old range highs. We're the only ones screaming, look down here for the buys. Look, notice what too, when it came off the bottom, it took time. Time here. Time is our friend if you're cool with it and you understand it. You get the mid 40s, mid to low 40s could be a awesome long-term buy. Keep that in mind. AEM. A lot of these miners popping up towards the high, not holding. I expect it to pull back. AG. I'm going to throw a Newmont here if you've got a second. Same thing, not doing much, needs to act stronger. All right, Newmont, the leader, the bull of the bulls. I drew this for the friends and family in the room and said, watch the channel high. We can't close over on the weekly. Doink, hit it. Exactly. Backing off. Now what? Be aware. Could this be a bull trap for gold bulls? That's what I would be watching. If you cannot close over the highs, again, one day doesn't make a trend, but if you can't take this level out here at 80, this could be a bear or bull trap. Keep in mind, this has gone from 52 to 80. Just like Exxon, it's all these other names that we keep talking about. Like, you have to beware of straight line moves because they have to digest. They typically pull back. That's all I'm going to say. Pass. Pass on to pass. Look what's going on here. Said it's not breaking out. Patience, pull back. Give it some time. Let's get into some commodity names because, again, we've been taking our profits and moving on. And when I say taking profits and moving on, it's hedging or taking them all off and coming back. Is this a move that you want to buy more of? No. I told you guys, and again, Eric, Scott, some of the regulars were talking about, hey, 200 month, keep an eye on it. It's been resistance, over it, resistance, bull trap. Again, the first test of it. Now what? Oh, you see this little blue zone? I need to spread it out. I would be looking in the high 20s, low 30s. If you see X there, I think you have a great buying opportunity. Keep in mind, even during the bull markets and commodities, you had chop. There was not these like straight line moves are just stupid. I don't know who teaches people that this is how you trade and how the markets move, because they don't. CCJ, red alert, 20-day potential lower high. I'm warning people, you are coming into the volume at price zone. That is important, like this little vacuum, hence also the 50% fib, also old support and resistance. That is resistance, or that is support, became resistance. Once you fail, boom. Notice how the candles tightened up for a minute and then boom. This is going to be a problem. Now again, I could be wrong, but the profit should be taken when you go from 19 to 30. Keep in mind is that $5. It's gonna move like you see it, up, down, up, chop, up, chop, up, chop. Two big greens, pull back. I mean, the equivalent of two big greens, this move, two big greens, pull back. Now again, I'm just pulling that out of my ass. I just know that overbought conditions, whatever you want to call it, because again, you can pull up RSI, MACD, all these stupid things, but just trust your gut and your sentiment. VALE, all this good news about jumping in with Tesla. Why is it not ripping higher? We talked about this is potentially a lower high. Dangerous. Near term. Long term, not so concerned. I think you hit the monthly trend up here in the 25s. But guess what? I want to see it down here. Now, again, what I want and what ultimately happens, never guarantee. But if you see it pull back to 17, you save yourself about 20%. And then you can buy it back to make 8% on top of 17. Yeah, you do the math. That's almost 40-something percent. Not bad. That's quick math. Anyway, I like the risk reward of not necessarily shorting it, but waiting for the pullback. Please be smart, be safe. We're here to help. Oh, what time is it? Oh, Mosaic CF. Now here's some interesting trades, because a lot of people, what are they doing? They're saying, oh, we got to chase this. Come on, man. This thing just went freaking ape shit. Wait for the pullback. Pray that you get in the 50s and then buy it. CF, same thing. Again, could be wrong here, but everybody is bullish this stuff, and it's already gone on a big run. Check the monthly. We went out. We're literally making new all-time highs. And look at this big-ass candle. Do you think profits are being taken up here? Again, I could be wrong, but if it was me, again, what do I say? The more something is up, the less I want to own, because the risk of what happens. Pull back. AMD. Let's get into tech. You can't even get more lucky in this. We said watch the 125 area blue box, basically the retest of this high from 228. Long wick, bull trap. Then you get lucky and get a downgrade. Again, what I said, the move is over. The big move is over. People who are still bullish, again, I get it. You don't realize the move is over. You don't look at the chart and go, what did it go from $1 to 160, and you can't sell it. Well, guess what? I know people go, oh, if you would have sold before, you would have been wrong. And guess what? No, not necessarily, because if you sell rips and you buy the dips, maybe you get rewarded. But at some point, you can buy dips, and if you're not rewarded, you're out. Because what you could have done is been buying all of this retest of the 100 area and trading it. And if it fails out, you're completely out. And guess what? You turned a monster bull trend into a big win in your life. But instead, what people do, what I've gotten phone calls about years later, hey, Dan, I bought Cisco, I bought Nortel, I bought Intel, I bought this tech stock or that stock, and I never sold any. It is now trading at 90% off of its highs. What do? Well, you didn't listen the first time, so why? What are you going to do now? You want to buy it? It's still going nowhere. Again, AMD, great company. Don't have any doubts about it. However, I have doubts about the long term because it looks like it's going to float into this volume at price zone at some point in the 70s to 90 range. From there, we will reconsider because it could ultimately be like this monster peak and foothills formation, like Head and Shoulders. Like, here are your foothills, here's your peak, and here will become more foothills. And then, and when I say like that could be painful because that means it's going to take months of digestion just to get back to even. And do you want to be that person? I don't know. Just whatever. Apple, here we go. The bears are bulls and the bulls were bulls, and nobody in their right mind would short Apple except this guy. Again, a little early, typical, not surprised. However, I warn people, even if I'm wrong, I don't give up on a trade if I think it's correct. When you see whatever, how many days straight Apple up based on nothing but other than pump, end of quarter markup, you need to have a little bird in your ear going, do I need to start selling? Because again, if I was a bull and I bought here and the end of the quarter was coming and I saw this action, I'd be going, well, shit, I just got back to even. And guess what? I'm going to take the rest of the month off and see what happens. And guess what? It's probably going to pull back. First support is going to be in this 169. Let me draw it for you folks out there at home who are also going to be taking this Apple short. I would watch for the first bounce. 100-day, 50-day, potentially the old downtrend, maybe the 20-day even catches up. After that, we'll see what happens because it could do this. Could do this and bounce. Could just get murdered and bounce back. I mean, obviously, if you've been following long enough, you know that anything is possible. Just be aware of the levels because you go from there. Yeah. What did we talk about with MicroStrategy? You know, we were like, hey, it's getting up there pretty high. It might be pullback. Got close enough to the 100-day. And what happens? Gets to the 100-day. Close enough for government work. Backing off. You better hold the 8-day. Because if not, 20 days coming. Again, watch Bitcoin. I mean, you don't even have to really watch MicroStrategy. I mean, watch them in tandem. But if MicroStrategy fails, Bitcoin's probably failing. If Bitcoin's failing, MicroStrategy's failing. That simple. Tesla. You know, we draw these zones for a reason. This is the top of the volume at price node. You can see it here, this is a lot of trapped folks here. You gap up into it, and guess what happens? It gets sideways because, of course, there's people who are taking profits. There's people getting back to even. There's people who bought at 750 or looking to get out at 1100 because they just made their freaking year. What is the average person doing? Holding for higher prices. And guess what's probably going to happen? If I had to guess, it's going to pull back, pop, and then potentially drop. I don't think long term this is a good buy. It's more like goodbye, leave it alone. Look at this. Look at this. If you think this is bullish long term, I don't know what to tell you. Again, it's nice that it popped back into the channel. I'm not shorting it. I just don't ever short because I don't like to bet against Elon Musk, but I guarantee he knows what's coming in his stock at some point and he will act accordingly. And when he's ready to buy more shares on a secondary, I will gladly jump in and piggyback him. At this point, it's just a leave it alone. That is all it is. Just leave it alone. And if you can't leave it alone, you can't hedge it, and you don't know what to do, get ready to get schooled at some point. PENN, the March Madness play that never happens in March. We thought this might pop. Looks like a Head and Shoulders, but if it does not violate or does not break out soon, it could be a Head and Shoulders failure. If you're not familiar with Head and Shoulders failures, when Head and Shoulder bottoms and tops actually are wrong, watch out because that means this thing is about to get destroyed. We'll see. UTHR put out a little alert in this Discord room, said, hey, check it out. Keeps holding this 174, and now it's getting back to the highs of the recent, I guess you would call it 4-day range. If it gets over it, it has the potential to get back at 185, potentially go 187 again. I typically don't say, I'm like not, I'm not, telling people to chase this, but when you watch a 4-day range, this is consolidation. Chasing would be buying probably 185. Watch what happens here. EXPI, oh, such a gift. Have a closing tomorrow, so I'm happy that will be getting stock based on hopefully the near close. That's cool. Again, I'm monthly. I know we're doing well. Watching this, I mean, a gift would be probably the 50-month. But see what happens. Take it. Have your stops. I like it down here. Absolutely like it. Not going to change my mind because it's down. I'm not that goober. Let's drop into drip because this is what we just purchased today. This thing is absolutely showing capitulation. If you don't know what capitulation is, it means the volume is expanding at the lows. People are giving up. I know there was a reverse split. I get it. But the volume is still expanding, and at a reverse split, somebody had to absorb it. Market makers would like oil to come down. Oil services look peaky. When I say peaky, like Peaky Blinders, like getting murdered at some point. What have we said? These can't get over this action. Dangerous. Spinning top hammer. Now another doji, turning potentially end of day bearish. I'm not pulling these numbers out of my ass. I said watch the 100-month. Watch the IPO price. If you think oil can only go in one direction, I hope for your sake you have a stop. That's all I ask. Keep in mind, this thing went from 26 to 140 almost. It's gonna have gyrations every month, every day, every week is not up. I'm not shorting this for the end of the world and oil prices to come back down to normal. I'm just thinking, what if the XOP pulls back 20-30%? What will drip do? Drip hopefully will go to 30, 32. I don't know. Oh, not the monthly. This thing's a beast, a bitch. Gonna get back over the 20-day. I mean, again, if you can buy this at 23 like we were doing, 22, well, actually 22.90, 22.75, and some calls, the 26 calls, dirt cheap. Watch what happens. All right, ExxonMobil. Keep in mind, said this is the leader. This is the absolute leader of the oil pit. It is peaked. It is now showing head and shoulders top potential. Beware. I'm not saying you have to go out and sell every share, but you should be hedging. It went from 30 to 90. Geez, 90 plus. Come on, hedge it. All right, getting a phone call. Got to run. Hope this helps. Live action. Be aware. Doji potential tomorrow. If you get a gap down, take some profits. If you gap up, know what you're going to do. Probably need to add to your shorts.
Thanks for watching. For more trading knowledge and insight, click on the videos on the right, and also join the Discord room. Link is in the description below. If you have any questions, please stop on by the Discord room and let's chat. Thank you.